So huge thanks for joining myself. I'm with Mo from Bland to Brand.
Hi.
So Mo, huge thanks for joining myself. You're presenting on the 4th of April and the presentation's focused on brand because after all you're a branding company. Why is branding so important for property investors and developers?
Really the way and the importance of brand is, I was saying over the last 5 to 10 years, property companies and developers have switched on. Typically the clients that we work with, retail, FMCG, because they understand that actually decisions are made very quickly. Someone kind of feels a certain way towards a product or a service. And what property companies are kind of switching on to the idea is that rather than me having 4,000 square foot in Watford, I have that, and rather than selling it by per square foot, what I'm going to sell it by is how I make people feel, the emotion that surrounds it. So you'll see nowadays developments will have a website, they'll have a funky hoarding, they'll have really cool CGIs, maybe even virtual reality, all of these tricks to make someone go, you know what, I like it. The issue is that I see with property companies is they kind of play the same trick again and again, which is the luxury angle. You know, this is luxury living. If you look at fashion, the idea of something being beautiful or luxury was a trick that was played maybe 30 years ago. And because of that, they've tried to do different things to create that attraction. You look at Benetton or you look at American Apparel, how they've kind of pushed boundaries to make someone go, you know what, you stand out, you're a little interesting.
How though can someone connect with you? Okay, they can give you a call and so forth. Let's say they're a developer, they've got projects coming up. What pieces of software, and you may say it's not all about software, but there's software which you have as well which allows to show a picture, an emotional picture. So we were just a few moments ago on screen and looking at some of the developments which you've been working with. So can you give a scenario of who you've been working with in terms of what you've done for them?
Yeah. I mean, we work with all sorts of developers, but typically I find it's the younger developer, the one who's a little bit more aggressive.
When you say younger, well, what type of demographic usually?
I'm saying probably mid-30s. You know, maybe that isn't young for me.
No, you're making me feel old because I'm 40. So
yeah, I find it's like, for example, we just did a development with one developer, and rather than at the end of that development the developer giving the residents an OM document, an owner's manual, we create the same information, put it on a Kindle, you know, a 40 quid Amazon file. It's a nice gift, but it's there in digital format. You know, it's these kind of things, and I think developers are starting to understand that actually we're not in the business of just building property. We're in the business of fashion and entertainment. We have to create developments which have all these cool features which make someone go, oh, ain't that nice? And it's got that element of fashion which makes it desirable, which makes someone go, you know what, I really want this.
Mo, for some people who are listening to us, whether you're listening live or whether you're listening later, you may be wondering who Mo is. So you're a little bit about your background, Mo.
Yeah, so basically I run this company called Bland to Brand. We've been going for 10 years.
Wow, 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years now. And my kind of background was ad agency world, and I was very fortunate to work for a company called Circus, and they were a specialist brand strategy agency. So they did no creative in-house, and we worked with clients like John Lewis, Selfridges, Lexus, Starbucks, you name it, we pretty much worked with them. And it was all about trying to say, okay, let's uncover what it is that you stand for, and then the emotional hooks with that, because we're 24 more times, there's a philosopher priest, his name was Dr. Erasmus of Rotterdam, he said, we're 24 more times influenced by our emotions than we are by the very nature of something. And you look at the style and the way we're advertised to, it's highly emotive. And if you understand these principles of playing and leveraging emotion, it's about personality, really. We call it brand personality. We like people not because they have a nose or a couple of eyes. It's what you stand for, your character, how you come across. In the same way, brands are like people. And if you can uncover the personality of a brand and sell that and make someone go, you know what, I like it. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's a purely emotive decision. And you look at the way that we shop, it's very emotive. You look at the way that we might be attracted to or like cars, I see it on like shows like Top Gear. Someone's offered a Skoda, totally kitted out, or a very, very basic Mercedes, but there's an attraction to the Mercedes, even though functionally it's inferior. And it's that kind of game that brand is very powerful at playing, which is taking very similar products and services and distinguishing them through an emotive hook.
Look, let me just swivel the camera around for just a moment or two. So that's on the date, April the 4th is my morning meet. Look, I've also got someone speaking, Laura McLongley, on GDPR as well. So that you've got a really nice subject, I would say, of branding, and you've got a different subject, GDPR. So that's at the Central London Morning Property Network. I'm really delighted that Mo's coming down to London. So it's the only day I've confirmed in his diary. So it took a lot of persuasion. It's been a number of meets, a number of phone calls, a number of treats. But I'm really impressed also by how they're using digital marketing as well. So that's it really. Mo, any last words?
Any last words?
How can people connect with you? Is it Bland to Brand? What's the website?
Yeah, blandtobrand.co.uk. You can find us there. We've got loads of examples. If you ever want to drop us an email, or we actually just moved into a retail unit in Watford, just near the town centre. You can come in and you can see some of the stuff we do with virtual reality, with CGIs, some of the websites that we've created for developers. I mean, brand is a hell of a lot more than just a logo or even a name. That's kind of like the bit right at the top, but there's so many ways to communicate a brand, and we can help you with any of that.
So I just want to say huge thanks and see you soon.